right, so what did all of that curriculum have in common? It all is found in this curriculum, which is Heart of Dakota. It is like a boxed curriculum, but has more of a Charlotte Mason feel to it because it does do narration and copy work, and there's not a whole lot of tests. You're more graded on what you have done. It also is a Christian worldview, which I appreciate so much. But I want to just share some of the books that I don't know if I would have tried if it was not for choosing this curriculum. One book, which I know most of you will be familiar with, and I am using Creation to Christ for my 5th grader. And that is sort of when their middle school starts, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, because it more revolves around what their history is, which is Creation to Christ this school year for my 5th grader. And then it will be Resurrection to Reformation, and then Revival to Revolution, and then Missions to Modern. So that is for like 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Let me tell you that it does not really go by grade. It is more by your ability. So they have a placement chart that you can look at online. You can also, I think you can still get their book. I'm not sure. I have a catalog here that I use, but they have a placement chart that you can look at that gives you specifics about everything from what they will be doing in history and science and language arts and math. And the nice thing about it is you don't actually have to use everything they suggest. If you are not familiar with this curriculum, I will link a couple videos below that hopefully will help you. If you are curious, you can look into the actual books and see how they work. So let me tell you, I'm going to start out with a whole lot of curriculum and I'm just going to keep moving. I just want to share with you what you'll find in the guides along the way. So this is not all in one school year, and I'll try to give you specifics. So one of the books that they use is Apologia for Science, and for Bible they use the Apologia book 3, which is about the animals, and my son used that this school year. They use the Astronomy, which will actually be for the Resurrection to Reformation, which is the next school year. The year after that, they use the Who is God and that book. And then the year after that, they use the Who Am I book. So if you were interested in trying any of those books, they would have it already scheduled throughout their guide for you. That is their choice. Now, do you have to use those? If you choose to use their history or some other subject from their book, no, you don't have to. I have used several of their guides and had not done their science before, but I wanted to share that those are in there. If you want to try it, but you want it scheduled for you and you want to use living books for your history, it's all there. Now, with their history, they always have a spine or 2, sometimes 3 spine books that they use along with their living books. And one of the spines, which I have used this one, which is Mystery of History. I have used the first book when all my boys were little, and it had nothing to do with Heart of Dakota, and we really had a good year. We enjoyed it. But as they got older, I was looking for something that really gave me the book list of living books to read to my boys. But this is actually one of the spines for one of their middle school guides. It actually is the Resurrection to Reformation. So my son will be using this next year, and it actually is only used for about half the school year. Also, they use book 4 right here, which is used in their high school guide, which would be U.S. History 2. And we have not used that. So some of these we have not used, but I think it's really neat that those are in there. Something else they use is Draw and Write Through History. And I think they use one of these, I want to say for all the middle school guides. I could be wrong, because I know my son is using an ancient one this school year for Creation of Christ. There is one next school year. I think this is one of the U.S. history ones that I pulled. So you will be using at least 3, maybe 4 of these books. And really, just for the drawing, it's more like the Charlotte Mason for the drawing. And they also let you do the copy work from these books, which is in cursive, which is great practice for that. Another thing is What in the World. Now, I think there is 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if they use 4. I know they use several of these. And this is by Diana Warren. She actually has her own curriculum, but they pull these in as a resource, an extra resource. So you will have your spine, you will have your living books, but this is something extra. And I had mentioned in an earlier video that my son was not really listening to it. It just didn't interest him, but we got to an area where he was on the very last CD. We're getting ready to talk about Rome. And I thought, let's listen. Why don't you go ahead and listen to disc 4? And he likes audio, anything audiobooks, because usually he listens to it while he's working with Legos. So he actually listened to the whole thing and was laughing a little bit. Her voice for my boys is a little bit hard to listen to, but she said some funny things. So he actually said, I'll listen to the whole thing, Mom, if you want. So I thought, why not? So he did backtrack, but that's okay. They have these for the middle school guides, which for 4 years. So I think they use all 4 or they spread them out. I can't remember. So these are great and gives you an opportunity to use this curriculum in a way maybe that you had not thought about. And Diana Warren I think she does an excellent job telling the stories in an adventurous way. Okay, next year, my son will be using Famous Men of Middle Ages, and this is from Memoria Press. And they have several different ones of these books, but this is something that some people might be familiar with, and they get an opportunity to use as a spine for the history. And I know now I have not used Revival to Revolution. I have not used that one. That is the one middle school guide I have not used, but I do have this book, and I am really hoping, Lord willing, if he allows, that we'll use that curriculum when my son comes to it, which would be 7th grade. So, but this is one of Janine Foster's books that they will use for that. And of course, the younger guides, they use a lot of her books for like the living books. So now in one of the years, a lot of you might be familiar with the Story of the World. This is actually used in the middle school guide 4, which is Mission to Modern. And they do use this book as one of the spines, and all my boys have really enjoyed reading through this. They actually also use this book as a spine. And this is actually, both of these could be used as a full curriculum, but they're just used as spines, and living books are added, and it's all scheduled in there. And that's what I like about it, is that you get the opportunity to use some of these curriculums, but it's scheduled in a way that you can add living books to it. Now, please keep in mind, these books are not all used in one school year. Most of what I mentioned so far is middle school. So over a 4-year span, you'll be using different books. Of course, like the Draw and Write Through History, you'd get a book every year. And Diana Warren's What in the World, you would get one of those every school year. So I mentioned the science with the Apologia, and I know one of the years, and I'm not sure if you are all familiar with this, I have not used this particular curriculum, but it's always been on my radar. Exploration Education, which is really a hands-on curriculum, and that is actually used in the 3rd book for middle school, Revival to Revolution, and it does not have to be used. I think they give you several options, but I wanted to share that with you. It can also be upped to be used as a physical science if you are bringing this up to more of closer to high school. Now, these are some fun books that a lot of people are familiar with, and because they're the Uncle Eric books, well, this one is anyways, Whatever Happened to Penny Candy, and this is used in the 4th guide for middle school, which is Missions to Modern, and Common Sense Business. So it's fun that they do extra studies even through the middle school guides. They actually have a Shakespeare study one year, a president study one year, a state study. And that's what really gives it the Charlotte Mason feel, is that you're adding some of these extra fun things to the curriculum and the years of history that you're studying. I feel like I'm sure I'm skipping some curriculum that you are familiar with, but I really encourage you to go check out the website. Just sort of look at placement your son or daughter would be in, just to see what curriculum they might be using that school year if it's something you're interested in. I'm going to move on a little bit. I think most of this is more of the high school these two books, which are put out by Master Books as spines. This is actually used in the world geography, and it's actually part of the spine for the geography, which all my boys really liked this book. This is actually used for the US 2 history one for their astronomy study, and I think they actually use the Master Book Teacher's Guide and some of the books that correlate with the high school astronomy, and I just happen to have this book, so I am sharing that with you, but that is a chance to try Master Book Science. Also, for their chemistry, they use the Berean by Dr. Wiles, and that used in the US History 1 book. So those are just some sciences if you're interested in trying. What I like about it is it's scheduled out, tells you everything to do. So wanted to share that thought with you if you are, and then it gives you the history, gives you the living books. And like I said, and if you've watched any of my videos, we don't do every single thing out of these guides. It's mainly for my history, and then I add in what I feel will work for us that school year. So saying that, I'm going to show you what my son is added in this school year and some of the curriculum you might be familiar with, and that is the Noble Experiment, their government they're using, and Uncle Eric's Whatever Happened to Justice. He's using these two for government. So also in this guide, he is not using, because like I said, I can pick and choose, right? Constitutional literacy is in there with their DVDs. And really, I was looking at this and thought, man, maybe I should have done that. Question yourself. But it's still there. I still have the book and the DVDs if I decide, we don't have to do it this school year. Something I know is in the future guides. This may have been last year's guide, but we are using it this school year, is Total Health, and this is used in the guides for their health curriculum, because I think most will need a health elective. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with this. I am not, because I have not done it. I think I bought this used, but I noticed it was listed in their curriculum for next school year. And I thought, oh, I'd really like for him to check into this. So I think I have everything I need if we stay with Heart of Dakota US 2. I haven't decided yet on what we will be doing, but I will let you know in the near future. If you are new here, I am trying to video my homeschool journey with my two boys I have left at home, and I do share a lot of experience from the past. So check out my channel, and if you like homeschool content, please subscribe. That I would appreciate that so much. So this is something that is in the guide, which would be a speech. So I think that is great. And then of course, Dave Ramsey's Foundation of Personal Finances is also scheduled, and I think it's the next guide up too. So, and all my boys have done this, even though this is our first time going through the US history guides. We have used this curriculum on our own, and we really liked it. I do want to mention one other curriculum that I don't know if you're familiar with. I don't even know if you can see it. This page is sort of faded, but it's Map Trek. We have the CDs. We love geography and love maps. I was familiar with this curriculum years ago when my boys were little, and just all the mapping that is done through this company. Well, Heart of Dakota had them do special mapping for them, which is great. So this will actually start next year in the middle school guides, and we'll go all the way for the next 3 years. And this is the medieval world. And you print them off. You have the teacher's guide, which is actually, this is what I have, is the teacher's book. Because once I print the teacher's guide off, I keep it. And it's all the maps as you learn about history and how the countries become, who's fighting who. So they'll have one of these for the American histories in middle school also. And they also have the student pages, which they usually print off. They're plain, don't have anything, so you will fill out and color according to the teacher's maps. So this is one of our favorite parts, is the mapping out, because we do all enjoy geography here. But I wanted to share that with you if you're familiar with Map Trek at all. These were made specifically for this program and their history. So I wanted to share that thought with you. All right. I know that I'm probably forgetting something. If you use Heart of Dakota and you're thinking, what about this one, Rachel? Please comment below and let me know what I forgot if you're interested in checking something out or this curriculum. And of course, I'm not mentioning all the wonderful living books. And that, like I said, that is one reason we really enjoy this curriculum, is for the history, and we have enjoyed the science this school year. This is our first year using the high school US 1, and my son is really enjoying that. All right. I hope this video was helpful in some way. If you have any questions, let me know. I will link Heart of Dakota down below. I will link some videos that will open a guide up and give you a better look inside. If you would like to see anything else in more detail, let me know, and I will do my best to share with you. And I appreciate you all watching. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you again soon.